alaikum and good morning, my dear all friends. I am Ahmad Rashid Ahmad Zay again with a new English lecture. To start with the name of Almighty Allah, most gracious and most compassionate. Before starting our today's lecture, I want to ask you all to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Boys and girls, today we're going to talk about one of the most interesting and most important English grammar called conditional sentences. Lots of students asked me to begin teaching conditional sentences. So for today we're going to talk briefly about all the types of conditional sentence, and also we are going to learn that what are conditional sentences, about what things or about what situation or about what conditions can we use conditional sentence to talk about them. Okay, conditional sentence. First, before talking about the types of conditional sentence, it will be much better to talk about definition of conditional sentence. What is conditional sentence? We use conditional sentence to express factual implications. Also, we can use conditional sentence to talk about unreal situation, unreal condition. Also, we can use talk about hypothetical situation. What are hypothetical situation? It means when we are talking about the imaginary situations on the time, we can use from conditional sentence. A conditional sentence also can call in the note that I mentioned. Also, we can call conditional sentence as the if clauses. And these conditional sentence or if clauses are made of two main parts, which are called if clause plus a main clause. What does it mean? It means a main clause is the clause which can give a complete meaning, and the if clause which comes before the main clause. It can come after the main clause. Sometimes it can give a complete meaning, sometimes it cannot give a complete meaning. Okay, guys, let's talk about the types of conditional sentence. The first type of before talking about the types of conditional sentence, I want to mention that generally there are four types of conditional sentence, which are called zero type, first type, second type, and also third type. The zero type of conditional sentence always talk about the factual things, always talk about the general truths we use for a zero type or zero conditional sentence. Talk about factual or universal truths. It means those things that they are completely fact. We can use zero types to talk about those kind of situation or condition. For example, and the formation of zero type of conditional sentences, if plus simple present, and the result also should be in simple present tense. For example, if it rains, the garden gets wet. One thing that I also just misspelled or miswritten in this part, that I mentioned that when we are using if or when plus an if plus a clause, and after that the result in the main clause which comes after the if clause, we need to add a comma before the main clause. But when we are mentioning the main clause at the first time, it is not mandatory to use any comma. For example, if it rains, the garden gets wet. Okay. Let's talk about the first conditional sentence. What is the first conditional sentence? We use first conditional sentence talk about those actions or those situations with high probability. It means that we can use it to talk about high probability or things that can easily become true. And the formation of the first conditional sentence is if plus a clause or if clause, if plus a clause which comes, the clause or the first clause should be in simple present tense, and the result is in simple future tense. For example, if there's an example, if I meet Ali, I will talk to him. If I meet Ali, I will talk to him. It means this action can easily happen in the future. Okay, let's talk about the third type of conditional sentence. The third type of conditional sentence is called the second type of conditional sentence. What is the second type of conditional sentence? We use second type of conditional sentence to talk about those actions or those situations or those events with low probabilities. For example, also we can say don't think or we don't think that it will happen in the future, or also we can say that don't think will really happen in the future. And the formation is if plus simple past tense, and the result is would plus base form of the verb. For example, if I had money, I would bought a car. I would buy a car. Sorry, in this place we need to use from first form of the verb, not from the second form of the verb. I would buy a car. And the fourth type of conditional sentence in English grammar is called the third type of conditional sentence. What is the third type of conditional sentence? The third type of conditional sentence talk about regress, also talk about the imaginary situations or events, also talk about the hypothesis, or also we consider it called about hypothetical situation or unreal situation or condition. And the formation is if plus past perfect tense, and the result is would have plus third form of the verb. For example, if I had arrived early, I would have talked to him. And now on, we're going to talk about a mixed type of conditional sentences. Lots of students are asking me, sir, that can we call mixed type of conditional sentence as the main types? No, they are not the main types of conditional sentence, but we need to know that what are the mixed conditional sentence, or how can we use all these kind of or this type of conditional sentence with each other in mixed forms. There are 6 ways of using the conditional sentence in mixed forms. For example, we can use conditional or mixed conditional sentence. Talk about past conditions. When we are using mixed conditional sentences with past condition, or talk about the past condition or past situation, on the time it can give us 2 results. One result in present, and the next or the second result can be in the future. For example, if he had played well, he would be the winner. And with a future meaning, for example, we can say that if he had arrived early, they would be meeting him tomorrow. And the second mixed conditional sentence is called present conditional. The present conditional can give 2 kinds of results. The first result is in present, and the second result is in the future. For example, if they were the legend, they would have won the match. And if we are using present condition and mixed conditional sentence to give a future meaning, it can have, and we can have an example for this one, like this one. If they were good player, they would be the champions. And also, let's talk about the mixed conditional sentence. If we use mixed conditional sentence and future condition, it can give 2 kinds of result. The first result is in past, and the second result is in present. For example, if they were not playing with us, we would have called another team. And with a present meaning, if I were going to the park tomorrow, I would be so happy. Boys and girls, it was our today's lecture. A little bit, just we cannot say it's complicated, but it needs more attention when we're talking or when we are learning conditional sentences. I hope you enjoyed and learned some new things from our today's lecture. In case of any question, any complaints, or any suggestion, you can text me and also you can comment me. Do not forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz. Be safe.